I'm hyped. I'm hyped. Are you hyped? Good. Because you're going to need your hypeness, your instincts right now. Because Valve just did something nobody expected, okay? In a world where everyone else is sprinting towards handhelds, they ignored the Steam Deck completely and dropped something that aims straight at your living room. A Steam machine. That could either change gaming forever or flop harder than the last time they tried this 10 years ago. Yes, it fell back then hard. I'm talking under 400,000 units total. The kind of number that makes companies pretend the product never existed. Well, we released that? But this time, everything feels different. Valve rebuilt SteamOS from the ground up. Proton is stable. Compatibility is insane. And according to Valve themselves, this cube is apparently more powerful than what 70% of Steam users are running right now. Which is wild. Think about it. Because most of us think we're running decent rigs, right? But bro, here's a real problem. Nobody knows the price. Not even me. Valve is guarding that number like it's the last rare drop in existence. Online, people are screaming that it'll be around $500. Others say $1,000. I am saying $100,000. The only thing Valve has confirmed is that they're not selling this thing at a loss, which already puts pressure on your wallet. And the craziest part, if this thing is too affordable, companies might buy them in bulk and off as PCs. Meaning, Valve loses game revenue and shoots themselves in the foot. That's why they can't price it like it's a console. Does that make sense? Are you with me? Cool, because the question becomes, where does it land? And is it going to be worth your money? And that's exactly where I like to get things spicy. Because depending on this price, this little black cube might be the smartest move Valve has made since, well, pretty much the Steam Deck. Or, well, the most expensive remember when moment we joke about in 5 years. Let's turn that tortilla upside down, alright? Before we go any further, let's get something clear. The Steam machine isn't in anyone's hands yet. Not mine, not yours, not even the one oak online who swears he knows a guy at Valve. He doesn't. The real hardware only drops in early 2026, so everything we're talking about here is shaped by the reveals, the engineering breakdowns, and the chaos happening online. Honestly, the way you're sitting there locked in, you already look like someone who actually understands why this thing matters. Okay, what we know is that Valve built this cube with the confidence of a company that spent a whole decade fixing their own mistakes. Last time they tried this, they launched a mess of different Steam machines with confusing specs, ran a Linux version that dropped performance by up to 58%, and watched the entire project sink quietly in the mud. But this time, one device, one design, one mission, to rule them all. That alone already feels dangerous. The good kind of dangerous. The exciting kind. Therefore, you can already imagine what the actual hardware might do once Valve fine-tunes everything. Oh, can you see it? Can you see it, Mr. Baggins? And then the tension hits you. The real Steam machine has 75% cooling system by volume. Think about that for a second. A cube that's basically a heat-eating monster wrapped in a matte black. Almost nothing inside is wasted. Almost everything is there to push performance harder than what 70% of Steam users are running today. Sorry. You can picture the first moment it powers on. No RGB fireworks, no gimmicks, just a quiet, confident glow through the chassis. And right there, you start feeling the shift. This isn't a toy. It's not pretending to be a console. It's a PC dressed like it wants a spot on your TV stand. But then again, gamers, we're just big people with big toys. But here's the whole story twist, okay? We still haven't touched the one thing causing absolute chaos online. The detail Valve refuses to reveal. The detail that decides whether this becomes the next must-have living room gaming machine or the most expensive almost in recent memory. That single unanswered question is what turns this from hype into suspense. Now here's where the whole Steam machine fantasy hits real-world resistance. Because talking about specs and early test benches is easy. What's not easy is imagining how this thing behaves once you actually start playing on it. And that's where the biggest split in the community is coming from. Everyone keeps saying 4K 60 on almost anything, no problem. Valve themselves hinted at that target when paired with FSR upscaling. That sounds incredible on paper, right? But therefore, the expectation becomes insane. You see what I'm saying, Wolf? I'm talking to you. The moment a company claims it'll run basically everything, gamers load up Cyberpunk, Tarkov, Starfield, and Baldur's Gate 3 back to back like they're trying to break the national record for disappointment. And that's where the first crack appears. Because SteamOS, as good as it is now, still has one massive blind spot: anti-cheat. Games like Fortnite, Destiny 2, Valorant, Warzone, even leagues. Not because they're too demanding, but because their anti-cheat systems refuse to cooperate. Therefore, a chunk of players are already convinced the Steam machine won't be for them no matter how well it performs. Crazy, but it makes sense. The story flips again. Tacos. When you look at the single player titles and most modern multiplayer games that do work, Proton has been so aggressively optimized that many titles already run better on SteamOS than on Windows. We've seen that with handhelds, we've seen it in testing, and we've seen it in creator benchmarks. It's Valve's optimized playpen, and when they control both the OS and the hardware, things tend to get scary, fast, in a good way. Still, even if it runs beautifully, there's another issue bubbling under the surface. Game settings culture. Console players expect one button, performance or quality. PC players expect 200 sliders, not less. But this cube doesn't want to be a tinkering device, it wants to be a sit down and play machine. So you have a PC pretending to be a console sitting in a market where console players don't want to tweak anything and PC players want to tweak everything. I mean, have you seen Dragon Ball Z games modded? My goodness. That's a weird identity crisis brewing. Therefore, the real test won't be how many frames Cyberpunk hits. It'll be how seamless the experience feels from the couch. Your couch, your beautiful pink couch that you're sitting on. Because if you switch it on the OS boot straight on stream big picture with zero friction, if the updates happen cleanly, the controller purrs instantly, and the game launches faster than your console, that's the moment this thing stops being a curiosity and starts being a threat. And right as you think you have the whole picture, something else drops into the mix. Something that could completely change whether this cube becomes the next big living room device or just another okay, cool idea that didn't really actually quite fit anywhere. And it's not hardware, not specs, not even the OS. Whoa. It's something far more practical and way more personal to how you actually play games. And here's where the whole Steam Machine conversation blindsides everyone. Because up to now, it's all been performance, OS, compatibility, power. But the thing that could define whether this device actually fits into your life, or not at all, isn't performance. It's how you use it. The Steam Machine lives in a strange space. It's a PC that wants to sit under your TV like a console, but therefore it inherits the problems of both worlds. With a console, you turn it on, grab a controller, and you're in. Zero thinking, zero maintenance. A PC, yeah, PCs want BIOS update, driver updates, firmware patches, thermal management, Discord overlays. So the question becomes, can Valve really remove the PC stress without removing the PC freedom? That's where SteamOS steps in. And this is the part nobody expected to matter as much as it does. And when you're done with work, the last thing you want is to troubleshoot a system before you can relax. Valve knows that. Therefore, the OS isn't just the software glue, it's the whole pitch. It's the thing that lets this cube pretend it's a console while still being a full PC when you need it. But none of that solves the real headache for a lot of gamers. Input switching. You know what I'm talking about. Let me know down below. If you're someone who has your PC at a desk but wants to occasionally game on your couch, you've probably fought with HDMI switches, audio routing, Bluetooth desyncs, controller pairing conflicts, the whole nightmare stack. You know it. And here's the twist. The Steam Machine just dodges all of that by being its own device. It wants a dedicated TV spot. It wants to replace your console without replacing your main PC. It's a second gaming brain, not the primary one. Now you're looking at your setup, your habits, your living room, your workflow, and asking, where does this thing actually fit? Does it replace your console? Does it become your couch PC? Does it sit next to your existing PC as a no thinking required gaming box? Or does it just end up being a gorgeous cube that doesn't solve a problem you actually have? I got a curveball for you. The thing nobody was expecting Valve to do. Something that might quietly give the Steam machine a huge advantage. Shared ecosystem flow. You can stop a game on your PC, pick it up on the Steam machine, and then take it portable on the deck if you have one. Same saves, same library, same cloud sync, no subscriptions, no online fees, no weird limitations. It's not cross-platform, it's the same platform in 3 different rooms. You get me? And just when you think that sounds too good to be true, you remember the one thing Valve still refuses to tell anyone. The one piece of information that will either make this entire ecosystem feel genius or make the whole experiment collapse under its own ambition. Because everything, literally everything, test me on this, comes down to a single number. And the moment Valve reveals it, this entire story, fantasy, adventure can shift instantly. And this is where the story gets genuinely messy. Valve has shown the specs that design the OS improvements, even early performance targets, but therefore the silence around the price feels intentional, almost strategic, like GTA 6 strategic. It's annoying. They're not hiding it because they don't know, they're hiding it because a single wrong move could nuke the entire plan before 2026 even starts. And Valve isn't selling this like a console. They don't get revenue from online play. They don't take cuts from every game purchased on their system because you can install whatever launcher you want. Therefore, they cannot sell this thing at a massive loss the way Sony and Microsoft do. Are you with me so far? Cool. Which means over here in the real world, hoping for a $499 price tag console killer might be the biggest fantasy gamers have had since Half-Life 3. I know we're still crying about that one. But then again, there's the other side. Valve knows they can't push it too high. They've seen the backlash against PS5 price hikes. They've seen the Xbox situation. They know console players aren't going to jump ship at $1,000, no matter how powerful the hardware is. So the Steam machine is tiptoeing a razor's edge between accessibility and sustainability, and Valve has to land that number perfectly. Now, just for a second, close your eyes and imagine the pressure this puts on gamers like yourself. If it comes in at $699, it becomes the most interesting living room device since the PS5 launch. If it lands at $899, suddenly every YouTuber, every Reddit thread, every TikTok tech bro starts questioning the value. And if it crosses $1,000, that's it. It becomes a niche collector's item for people who already own 3 PCs and a Steam Deck, and they're all called Dick. And this is where the Steam machine suddenly feels less like tech and more like a gamble. Because you don't just buy it for power, you buy it for convenience, for clean ecosystem flow, for that sit down and just play energy. But all of that collapses the second the price feels out of reach. Yet, here comes my twist. The hype hasn't slowed down at all. If anything, the mystery has made people lean in harder, because that's what we do. The debate is getting louder, the speculation is crazier, and you can feel the entire gaming community holding its breath like a massive countdown has already started. Again, GTA 6, Kingdom Hearts 3, 4. We're not waiting for the specs anymore, we're waiting for the numbers that could change everything. And the moment that number drops, I promise you it's going to reshape the whole conversation. Whether that's excitement, disappointment, or absolute chaos, combined with a little bit of jokes here and there. Definitely some swearing. That reveal is going to hit the gaming world like a meteor. Therefore, that tension is what makes this so much fun. Because if Valve gets it right, even by accident, they don't just enter a console space, they punch a hole right through it. Suddenly, PlayStation feels pressure. Xbox has to rethink its whole strategy. I mean, dude, Halo is on PS5 now. They need to start thinking either way. Nintendo might finally stop pretending their hardware never ages. I mean, come on. A clean price could shift the landscape for years, but if they overshoot, if that number lands too high, everything collapses instantly. No debate, no honeymoon period, just a collective, nah. Plain and simple, nah. From gamers who already have powerful PCs, consoles, or Steam Decks. And Valve knows that. They're playing with a loaded decision, and the entire industry is quietly watching, waiting for someone named Jeremy to finally decide what happens. And while we wait, here's the real opportunity, your setup. Because whether the Steam machine becomes the next big thing or not, there are upgrades, hidden savings, and smarter choices you can make right now. And that's exactly why you should stick around. You're already here on Level Up Gaming, and I love having you here, by the way. You are looking fine. And the next video on your screen is going to show you something just as important, where you can actually save money, and where spending a little extra transforms your whole experience. You don't have to guess. You don't have to scroll. Well, you don't have to scroll through forums for hours, at least. Just follow the next video here, and let's see whether your next upgrade is the Steam machine or something even better hiding in plain sight. I double dare you.